You know, if I was ever in a gang, I think I would have to be the leader. The Accomplices, they never get that much recognition. You've heard of Joaquin Murrieta from a previous episode, right? You've likely heard of Butch Cassidy, Billy the Kid, Jesse James. But do you know the name William Carver, known by the nickname News Carver? Well, in a few minutes, you will. So, let me tell you a story. In the middle of nowhere, Utah, there was a guy that soon would become known by the nickname News. He was a Texas cowboy who turned outlaw after his wife of 6 months died with child. He wasn't lonely by any means. He had a side-piece sidekick who happened to be his dead wife's niece, Laura Bullion, to keep him company. He was quite the ladies' man, having another outlaw girlfriend named Josie Bassett. They all were hiding out in what was known as Robbers Roost in Utah after a robbery gone bad went down in New Mexico with Blackjack Ketchum and his gang. There was a shootout where a sheriff got killed and some deputies got shot, officially labeling Carver as an outlaw and murderer. Here at Robbers Roost, Carver met up with a new group headed by a guy named Butch Cassidy. Butch and his wild bunch were hiding out there planning another hit. By the way, Wild Bunch became part of their name because of the way they all partied after a successful heist. The next hit was to be a bank. Carver and the Sundance Kid and Kid Curry robbed the First National Bank of Winnemucca, which went very, very well. Spending that money, getting a little rowdy, and sleeping with a bunch of hookers, Carver started to see his name plastered in the newspapers. He absolutely loved it. And he'd laugh all night looking at his name in the paper, thinking to himself that he was some famous guy. The other guys thought it was hilarious and way too funny, so they started calling him News. Now, throughout all the different robberies and parties, News's love life was a little bit tangled. Josie Bassett was his lover, but he was on the road a lot. And you know, brothels provide a certain service for men with some extra money. He was found a little too often with a certain prostitute from a brothel in San Antonio, which made Josie jealous. So she decided to get with one of his friends, Ben Kilpatrick. The two made up and got back together, and Kirkpatrick got with News's old side piece, Laura. Anyway, Butch and the gang planned another big hit on a train up in Montana, which went perfectly. So perfectly that to celebrate, the gang went and had a professional picture taken of themselves, all dressed up in Fort Worth. In the picture, you see News Carver, Kid Curry, Butch Cassidy, the tall Texan Ben Kilpatrick, and the Sundance Kid. This picture sealed their fate, though. Now having a picture, some Wells Fargo detectives sent it to all the different law enforcement agencies in the Southwest to keep an eye out for these men. Sure enough, back down in Texas, News, Kid Curry, and the Kilpatrick brothers, Ben and George, went to a few saloons, spending a bunch of money, and killing a few people. At one point, they were at the Maud S. Saloon, where a bartender recognized them and sent word to the sheriff. The sheriff got a posse together and searched the town for these guys, finding them either in a bakery or a store. The records are a little bit muddy. Supposedly, going in to arrest News Carver for the murder of some guy, George Kilpatrick reached for his gun, which caused News to reach for his gun, which resulted in both of them getting blasted. News got shot 7 times, the kill shot being right in the lung, and the sheriff took him to jail, where he bled out and died. Then was put on display at the courthouse for all to see. News was buried in an unmarked grave in the Sonora, Texas cemetery. But one day, a lady came by, veiled and mysterious, carried a gravestone, and placed it where he laid. That grave simply says the date of his death. Nobody knows who the woman was, and we'll never know. But I'd like to think it was Josie.